I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is...
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media, so be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tyre wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
Here you can see the pertinent details about your current contract. On one side are the objectives and bonuses that we've negotiated with the team. On the other is information regarding how you're perceived throughout the paddock, your reputation with the current team, and your overall value to them, which is a combination of these elements.
I recommend we could go for something like this.
Winning rivalries.
Hello everyone, it is the Bronze Archer here, bringing you my first episode of the 2018 career mode for F1 2018. I just repeated myself twice there, but never mind. As you can see, I'm just doing upgrades quickly, and I'm sorry that for the first 2 minutes that there's been no audio. It's just that I wanted you just to see the introduction to the career mode and just have a little look and just have some peace and quiet for a little bit. And so I'm now going to just have a little look through the messages, see what people have been sending me, and weather forecast is pretty good. It's going to be a dry race, so that's perfect, and dry qualifying as well. As now I'm going to pass you over to Anthony Davidson and David Croft for the introduction to practice number 1.
From around the globe, you join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. Anthony Davidson is here as usual to help take us through the action. And I've seen some questions on social media and other places about this current crop of F1 cars and why they're so much faster now, despite being significantly heavier than the previous generations of machines. Take us through that one.
I'd be happy to, Crofty. And simply put, it's a matter of grip. Now, that comes from two sources. You have what we call mechanical grip, which comes from the surface of the tyres sticking to the road. And these tyres are significantly wider now when compared to previous years, so they have the potential for more mechanical grip. Then you have the downforce, of course, which pushes the car into the road as the air moves over it, thus generating grip. And these cars have about 20% more downforce, which is more than enough to overcome the added weight.
Thank you, Anthony Davidson. David Croft is now going to show you a lap in a good old-fashioned classic car, the 1976 McLaren, which was driven by James Hunt and I can't remember the other, Jochen Mass. Okay, see you in a bit.
think went wrong? You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
Let's go on to the interviews. And so, also I got an interview from Claire, the interview personnel, who does the... this is for practice, by the way, so I didn't film practice. But it was this picture like this saying like all the cars were a bit loose and wasn't really gripping to the track very well. So you had to pretty much make sure that the car's better, and also you wanted to the debut. It was a pretty interesting thing to ask, and also it's pretty unique as well, just because it's something different and you're not really used to it. So it throws you a little bit up on your head, which is pretty cool actually. And I like the new feature that you do get interviews now. And you can clearly sell by mounts as best as my window, which I can see to view the gameplay. Is not very big. I can't really tell what actually I answered, so you're gonna have to read that yourself. I'm sorry, but yeah, it was a very good start to my career. Did not expect anything like this to happen, as you will see later on in the race. It was actually rather surprising. The reason why I did so well, though, I'm not gonna lie, I did very well. I'm not gonna say the result, but I did very well. And I'm going to leave you now with Anthony Davidson and David Croft.
Pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc fermé conditions, so any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
Now let's get ready to start off my one-shot qualifying lap, as we're going down the start-finish straight with hot lap mode and max gear, max revs, going up into 8th gear, top max speed, go down to 4th gear, flip the car in, medium throttle, then high throttle on the exit, keep the glow of the car on the exit. You go down into turn 3, a little bit slower though than the majority of the other cars, braking, turning in, as well went a little bit wide there in his actual run. Turning on the inside, not hitting any of the curb on the exit, but I did a little bit at the end, sorry. Flat out through turn 5, then on down, going down to turn 6, braking down to 4th gear, put the throttle back down onto 5th, 6th, 7th gear. Now going up into 8th, braking down into 4th gear yet again for the hairpin. Well, getting a little bit fast on the exit, now up into 7th gear yet again. Up into 8th at 180 miles per hour, braking down 2 gears, putting the throttle back down because we're about to hit the second DRS zone, run the lap. Down the little curved straight type thing, braking in down to the final sector of the lap, which is kind of an awkward little section to drive because it's not the best section for the car. But getting through, they're just absolutely fine. And getting a little bit wider on the exit, touched a little bit of the grass on the outside there. That's my bad. And now as we're going down Stoffel straight, clip the barrier on the exit and running down the straight, and I got P7 in my first ever race. This was a result though probably of me running such a lower AI, because obviously it was my first race and I heard that the AI from like watching our videos and stuff like that, they're very fast during qualifying and very aggressive. So I didn't know whether that would mean they'll be faster anyway, so as I'm not very good at I'm not at the point where I can run 100 AI or something like that. I run like 80 something, so I have to run a little bit lower AI, so I ran 77 just to be safe. And yeah, I ended up getting, well, a very good result, let's say that much. So I'm sorry about the result being abnormally unrealistic. As now we're getting another interview about, because apparently I hit the wall a few times, what I did on the exit of the final turn, but this is a result of me taking too much speed, and the car just wasn't the best. And so now I'm going to pass you back to David Croft for the race beginning thingy.
host the first round of a 21 race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with the addition of new safety features, the return of France and Germany in an expanded 21 race calendar, and more tyre compounds than ever before. And of course, we have some big car manufacturers back in the sport too, with Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin returning as title sponsors for Sauber and Red Bull respectively. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2018 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here. I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 4th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season, it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the relative performance of McLaren and Toro Rosso, who have exchanged power unit suppliers this year. And given the additional restrictions on engine components, they need to be strong in terms of both performance and reliability.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Bottas. They've suffered a mechanical issue earlier in the weekend. Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen and Verstappen. The Rainmaster, Sainz, Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg. Grosjean, Perez, Stoffel Vandoorne and Leclerc. Hartley, Ocon, Pierre Gasly and Marcus Ericsson. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
It's getting ready for the start of the race. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we're off and away we go. I didn't exactly get a very good start though, which is quite common in this game. So I went up straight up into hot lap and into rich revs just to try and block off Sainz. Dove up on the inside of Raikkonen and Verstappen there. And now I'm just trying to chase after Sebastian Vettel and obviously Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Brake rather late. Vettel locks up, trying to see if I can make a dive bomb back from as far back as it was, which obviously didn't happen. As Hamilton and Ricciardo are battling, they're going a little bit slowly, so it's getting a little bit harder for. It means that it gives me an opportunity to go past on the inside of Vettel, which I do a dive up on the inside. It gives me a little bit of room, which is all good. And now I'm just trying to chase after Valtteri Bottas, who's up in front. He's just behind Hamilton, his teammate, and Daniel Ricciardo, the homeboy for this race at Australia. Flat out now down into the chicane, turn 11 and turn 12, braking down to 5th. Bottas goes a little bit slow, so let's just go up around and try and see if I can find a way past him. Get back into the slipstream, running overtake mode now on the ERS deployment. As now braking, don't quite get past him. He goes a little bit slowly on the exit. I get a little bit up on the inside, and I overtake him into my worst part of the track, my personal worst part. Get a little bit wide, and as we're going through the final turn, that's the end of the first lap of the Grand Prix. And now we're going to be going on to lap number 4, which at that point I will be challenging Daniel Ricciardo for P2. At this point I realised that definitely the area was too slow, and so I kind of felt a little bit bad really that I was doing so well in a McLaren. So let's just go up on the inside of Ricciardo, he leaves me the space, and I just go up on the inside. Now on to lap 6, I'm now behind Hamilton, up in his slipstream, just trying to keep the car steady, going over towards one side, going to try and go around the outside of his car there, side by side. He blocks me off a little bit there on the inside. Now let's go back, and I'm just trying to let them know that I'm still there. I'm not going to let go. I go up on the inside there, which was not very much room, but still made the overtake work. Now as we're going on to later that lap, Hamilton is quite a fair distance behind, so I didn't really think very much of it at all. I don't exactly get a very good run through here, I take it a little bit too slowly. So I'm still not quite used to the way the car handles, so it's my bad really. So you can see as an indicator going up and up and up and up, really quite close to me. It's not quite there though. But sadly Lance Stroll retired at the very start on lap 8. So the Williams car, although they're really bad, they're still even worse than he's the most unreliable car actually in the race, if you think about it. Then later onto that lap, around the outside goes Hamilton. He wasn't quite surprised now, he wasn't a Mercedes power unit car, so... And I'm in the McLaren, which is not a very good chassis at all. In the overtake mode, staying in his slipstream. Go up on the inside, barely misses front wing though. I don't understand how I managed to miss that. As I was going on to lap 12, nothing really happened as I'm coming into my first pit stop. And I'll be silent from here, and like you can watch the lap afterwards. As I on to the end of lap 14, there's a couple more drivers in the pit lane, which is Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas, and I think Danny Ricciardo. As I cleanly now got the net lead again, so this shows that I was definitely running too low of an AI. I felt kind of bad afterwards, but I was running quite low ERS just to try and protect the MGK. And now I'm gonna really regret it probably because Val's, well, he's within a second of me from the proximity arrow, and he's catching up with that Ferrari power unit, which is in theory the fastest power unit now actually in the sport currently anyway compared to Mercedes. Val's not quite there, and now he's going up behind me, catching up. I go a little bit wide, he goes around on my outside a little bit, I close the door on him. I go a little bit wide again, I run across the bollard, go a little bit too tight into the turn, which compromised my line. As now I'm going to have to go onto the grass to try and stop Val from hitting me. So side by side, now down this little section of curves. Val takes the net lead, well actually no, the actual lead, sorry, not the net lead. But he locks up again. I tried the brakes and I actually hit into the back of him, as I actually clobber the barrier. Now we'll be going on to lap number 28 to the start of the next lap. I get a pretty good run though, get a little bit oversteer though, go across onto the curb, onto the little bit of grass actually there, unintentionally obviously. I'm really low on energy recovery system, as I gave Vettel a little bit of a bump to them. No, I'm actually still there and I'm reasonably close to him. As obviously you can hear my engineer saying that you need to harvest more energy, which is what I was going to do after I overtook Vettel, because he was my top priority pretty much. As I'm in the slipstream of Sebastian Vettel, just trying to stay close, hoping that I can get past him, as I'm running low DRS at the moment, just to try and conserve some. As it's going to be a DRS, so I'm going down obviously out of the chicane, which has been added in this season after turn 12. So I know I'm going to be able to use the DRS to be able to overtake him. I get a very good run though through the chicane. In the slipstream I go into overtake mode for the ERS. Going close, make a dive bomb overtake up on the inside, run onto the top of the curb there, and to get the power stun on Sebastian Vettel. As Marcus Ericsson's in front of me, getting ready to be about to be lapped actually, but I go a little bit wide. But Val doesn't seem to be able to keep up, he just stays there though. He's there, he's like saying, yo, don't ignore me, I'm still here. And as we're going down the start finish straight, he does not catch me. As I go on to lap number 29, I use quite a lot of the curb on the inside. I don't understand actually why I didn't get a warning for that, but never mind. As I'm going down the straight, Val's got the DRS on me, going down to turn 13. Going out to the turn 13, don't use any of the curb, now going through turn 14, don't quite get as tight a line as I like. Then going down to turn 15, braking into third gear, not second gear. Now I'm down to second, now back up into third, fourth. Short shift into this just prevent wheel spin. DRS again, because I'm obviously within the second of Ericsson. As I'm currently running no ERS though, so I'm literally just trying to save up energy. As Val goes up on my inside, I do a switchback maneuver, run up into the overtake mixture of ERS, go along as side by side with him down into turn 3, brake again. We make a little bit of contact, but obviously unintentionally, and I go around his outside, which is a pretty good overtake in my opinion. Now, as I actually forgot to record this entire segment, so obviously now I'm coming into the pit lane for my second pit stop, and actually this is going to be a pretty cool lap to see on replay mode. Just shows how beautiful the actual replay cameras are in this game. So I'm just going to be silent now. I'm just going to let you enjoy my outlap in replay camera mode. So going on to the end of lap 41 here, Bella's like right behind me. I didn't expect him to also try and overtake me, so go down to low engine mode, and then Val just goes right on my outside. Didn't see him there. So later on to the lap I make a dive bomb maneuver. I accidentally hit Vettel though, so I'm off across the gravel, rally cross racing, and then Val actually retires from that impact. And I was just like thinking to myself, what the hell just happened? Now going on to lap number 48, I think that says. I can't reread it, like I said. On to lap number 49. Yellow flags. Down into the start finish straight from when Roman Grosjean sadly retired. Now there's Gasly, which has been lapped. And it's actually meant to be my fastest lap of the one of my fastest laps of the race. As now I'm going behind Stoffel Vandoorne, not Boffel, Stoffel Vandoorne, my teammate. You know when you've got a really bad teammate, when you get lapped by you. Go take him, as I'm up in the first sector. Hit a lot of the curbing there, just trying to keep the car steady and just hoping, just trying to stay along the straight and narrow. Let Stoffel Vandoorne stay behind me for some slipstream effect, just help him like stay up close to me and just help him to pull away from Gasly a little bit in the Toro Rosso. Because actually Toro Rosso is actually faster than the McLaren in this game, so it just shows how bad the chassis and actually how bad the engine really is. As I'm going out of the exit chicane, running loads of curbing there, flat out 184 miles per hour going down into the final section of the lap, which is a quite twisty and quite narrow section, really to try and get right, especially when you've got the sun low and just hitting your eyes when you're driving. Now going into turn 15. Then short shifting up into 4th gear, 5th, and then on the exit turn 16, running right down the start finish straight. and there I set my fastest lap of the race. So that was a pretty interesting interesting like tidbit of information there. Now as we're going on to lap number, I think that's 52, which is going to be lap 53 next time by. As Ricciardo and Verstappen are catching up to me. Ricciardo was trying to go around my outside, I let him go around, the honey badger goes around my outside, I give him a little bit of a touch. And he backs right off actually, which is really quite weird. I was wondering what the heck's going on, did I actually damage his car? I think I might have caused some damage. And then we're going down into this little section a little later on. Then later on that lap, something really quite interesting happened. As you're going to see here, both Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen are behind me. Verstappen goes to one side and Ricciardo goes to the other. So we just go 3 wide into a hairpin. Into a 90-degree corner. I brake really heavy. We should just go along the inside of Ricciardo and get both the positions back. In one turn. And then Ricciardo and Verstappen just battle away a little bit until I think Verstappen overtakes Ricciardo eventually, but Ocon's just there, like keeping up to us, because obviously Verstappen and Ricciardo are battling, which means Emerson Ocon can get DRS off those two and just keep up. So now I'm going down through the little chicane complex type of thing. And as now we're going down into here. Verstappen didn't quite get the overtake done. Just thought I'll let you know, guys know, so my recording somehow just for some reason cut it out. As we get to the end of lap 54, running up the high ARS mode and high engine mode, rich revs. Then I put into myself into overtake mode, like the mode of defense. It's pretty much a defense mode when you're trying to not let anyone overtake you, especially when you're in a slower car. Nearly worked, but Verstappen's still there. He's going to try and go off on my inside. I'll let him. I brake and me and him go side by side. I go around his outside. Good old fashioned inside line. Make a little bit of contact, and that's my overtake done, and I stay in the lead on lap 55. But the race, there's now as we're going to start my final lap of the race, and this is going to be a very interesting lap. As you can clearly tell, I'm still leading the race. In case you haven't realised, I am going to win this race. Insert Alonso quote here, now we can fight. I mean, this is not a true representation of how fast the car actually is. It's just because I was running too low in AI, I didn't realise how not different the AI really are. I mean, it's just aggression, not their actual speed, which has been improved. Which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not like saying anything about Kumas that they can't make a good AI. It's just that I thought that's the result of the AI being more aggressive. They'll be faster, but they're not. They're just more aggressive and will try and take you out at any time, which is rather entertaining. And it's also actually my fastest lap of the race. The one which I did earlier was not my fastest lap of the race. This one was my fastest lap of the race. As I was a little bit slow in the first sector, second sector I did take a little bit of too much curb there. Should give it a penalty there, but I wasn't. As now we're going down into the final section of the lap. It's going down up into 5th, up into 6th gear. Down to 5th again. Up into 6th again. Braking down into 3rd. If you can hear a little clicking, it's my watch, by the way. Going out to the final turn as we're going to go across lines. I go a little bit wide there. As we're going to take the victory of the Australian Grand Prix, my first time of asking. So that's something quite interesting. And I'm going to allow past you two. You guessed it, David Croft and Nancy Davison.
Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. The Rainmaster takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the Rainmaster. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull moved to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
what's really funny is, as a result of that, McLaren are second in the Constructors' Championship, as you can see, just going through all the drivers and the few retirees from the race. And now we're going to transition to the rival thing, which I'm apparently losing to, because apparently I didn't finish the race and some stuff, because obviously I did the replay recording after the actual race had finished, so it must have just been a little glitch in the system from that. But now I'm going to go over and start one of the invitation events. I wanted to do a invitation event in the first race, because, well, I was given the opportunity to, and I was like, I might as well take the opportunity. And I'm going to do the invitation event around Circuit Paul Ricard. And just to prove a point, I will show the AI difficulty, and I'm going to keep it the same just for the challenges. It's pretty safe. And actually, I might lower it for the challenges so that I can pass them a little bit easier. This is the way I am. I like doing things easily. I'm very, very lazy when it comes to challenges. Yeah, we're going to be doing it at Circuit Paul Ricard at the new French Grand Prix circuit. As I'm going to show you the race settings. Yes, I was running AI 77, which I kind of feel a bit bad for, because I didn't realise that, like, the AI wouldn't be faster. It would just be more aggressive, which is my bad. I didn't realise that, and no one really mentioned that at any time whatsoever, so it wasn't really my fault. And so now I'm going to pass you back to David Croft.
It's a chance for us to watch some of the classic cars from days gone by, as well as a chance for drivers to try something new and enhance their reputation.
As we're going to get ready with the challenge, and if you guys have enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a like button if you think I'm worth subscribing to. If you would hit the subscribe button and also hit the little notification bell next to it, just so you'll get notified whenever I upload, if I upload again, which might not happen considering how consistent my upload schedule is. But as you can see, I'm just overtaking some old Ferraris around Circuit Paul Ricard. And I hope you don't mind just listening to V10 for the next 3 and a bit minutes. Okay, goodbye. The Bronze Archer out. The Bronze Archer signing out. Peace.
position back.